Hello and welcome to Gary's Urban Larder. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for brownies, one of my favorites. We've got some great ingredients for you today that we're going to combine to make some really fudgy brownies, delicious and decadent. So let's get started. We've got ingredients set out. We've got eggs, some sugars, granulated white sugar and some brown sugar. And we're going to whisk together the eggs with the sugars to start. So I've got 3 eggs. I'm just going to crack those into a bowl. And that's 2. And we've got 3. So I'm just going to start with the white sugar. I'm just going to add all of that in at once. Take my trusty whisk and start to combine those. And we want to get that to lighten in color because we want to incorporate a little bit of air. We're not using any baking powder or other leavening in this, so we're relying on the egg. And everything we're going to do today, we're doing by hand. So just with a wooden spoon, a whisk, and some elbow grease. So I've got that fairly well combined. One of the things you want to do is make sure the sugars dissolve, and that helps to make that sort of shiny crust that forms on the top of brownies, which I think one of the best parts, that and the edges. Oh, I do love a brownie from the edge of the pan. So I'm going to add the brown sugar now, and that's a lightly packed ½ cup of brown sugar. That in. I'm going to add the vanilla, it's our flavoring. And that's the extent of our wet ingredients. So now I'm going to set that aside for a moment while we sift together our flour, our cocoa, get this out of the way, and cornstarch and salt. So I'm just doing that on a bit of parchment paper, and I'm going to sift those all together at the same time. And don't worry about the quantities and the ingredients. As always, you'll find a list in the description box. I've got one last thing that I'm going to add at the end, and that's some cinnamon. So let's clear that away. And we'll sift this just gently onto the parchment. We're doing our best to keep everything in one bowl, easy on the cleanup. And you see there's all those little bits that are caught, and we just leave those out. So I'm taking our dry ingredients, and I'm just going to put them in all at once. Get rid of this. And then we're just going to gently combine those into the wet ingredients. It's coming together. Oh, I can smell the cocoa. See that? Nice and gooey. And that's going to really be wonderful once that's baked. And that's going to give us that fudgy consistency that I enjoy so much. So switching to a wooden spoon. There. And now, I'm just going to add in the cinnamon. And just combine that. I think cinnamon gives a really unique flavor when combined with chocolate. And that looks really rich, which it is. But we're going to make it a bit richer by adding some dark chocolate. So I've got some dark chocolate. And I'm just going to cut that into little chunks. If you have chocolate chip, you can use that instead. I like bar chocolate, personally, because it's not so uniform and it just gives a bit more interest, I think. I'll just run that through. Okay. Doesn't that look amazing? I don't know about you, but I really love chocolate. The more the better. You can't have too much chocolate, too much money, or too many friends. And I promise you, if you make this, all of your friends will run to your house, begging for you to make it, begging you to make it, and asking for the recipe. And feel free to share this with your friends. And don't forget to like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. So that's done. And I'm just going to put all of that chocolate into the bowl. Oh, I need this for one more thing. Some pecans. And I'm just, again, going to sort of rough chop these. And I'm going to add those in. And again, I think this is just, it's optional. It adds additional texture and, of course, flavor. I haven't roasted these, but you could roast them in a bit of butter and add to the decadence. So there are nuts. We'll add that in. Set that aside. And now we're just going to fold that all together. Oh, look at that. Isn't that? That's so rich, so amazing, so thick. So I'm going to get that into our prepared pan or tin. And what we've done is we've just buttered this square tin and lined it with some parchment paper. Put that there. And we'll just get that in. So it's a really thick, gooey batter. Oh, this is going to be good. We use the spatula so we don't miss any of the bits. And get the very last of it. There we go. Let's set this aside. And we spread that out. Just to get that into all corners of our pan. And now we're going to put that in a moderate to slow oven. It's about 325 Fahrenheit, 160 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. So, and that's about all we need, 25 to 30 minutes. So you want to watch it. You don't want to overbake this because you want that moisture. So it'll puff up and then it cools, it'll settle and be flat. So join us after we've baked this and bring it out. Welcome back. The timer's just gone off. You see I've cleaned up a little bit. We're going to take those brownies out of the oven. Oh, the aroma. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? Oh, it just smells amazing. Now we're going to just leave that to cool. We're going to let it cool completely if we can. And that way when you cut into it, it'll keep its shape in the squares and you'll still have that fudgy, chewy, delicious texture with all those bits of nut. So check back after it's cool and we'll cut it up. All right, we've let our brownies cool. I've used the parchment to pull it out of the pan and they've now cooled completely to ambient temperature. So I'm just going to cut them, and I think I'm going to be really generous with these. They are rich. Oh, they are rich. But I'm going to cut these into 9. So 2 slices one way, 2 slices the other way. Oh my goodness. Are you ready? Look at that. You've got the butter, you've got the chocolate, your pecans. Look at the melting chocolate. Oh, isn't that amazing? Wish you were here. It's really fudgy, chewy, sweet, not overly so. Perfect with the nut. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's recipe. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe and ring that notification bell so you won't miss another recipe. Thank you for joining me, Gary Rice, and Gary's Urban Larder. Enjoy your brownies. See you next time.